Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Senna.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And welcome to another Rambling Review. Today we're taking a look at 3 games.
We are 3 very different games, and we
Yes.
are going to start with the top one here, which is Pandoria Merchants. This is a roll and write version of Pandoria. And Pandoria is not a very well-known game. It was a smaller release in 2017, I think, in Endspiel. But we really liked it. You can go and check our very old review of that. It's almost 3 years old now, almost 3.5 years old. You can go and check that out. But the game is very good. It's an abstract game where it's a tile-laying game where you have one tile to play. And that is the only tile that you have to play. So you have, that makes sense. You have one tile to play, and that is the only tile you have to play. It would specify you have one tile to play, but you have 16 different tiles to play.
So you don't play one tile
No,
in a game.
You play a lot of tiles throughout the game. And then we heard about this being a roll and write version of the game, and I'm always wary of that because, yes, this is going to be a topic of rambling probably because people have to stop making roll and writes and dice and card versions of all of the games.
Yeah.
So Pandoria was a great game, and this was a roll and write game that is saying to be a very interactive roll and write game and to be different. And then I read the rules for this, and I was like, isn't this just Pandoria? And I wanted to play Pandoria.
Yeah.
And we played Pandoria, and that was great. And now we have played this.
Yeah. First of all, like these roll and write games aren't that good looking because you're writing on paper, but this is not good looking, I think. It's a little confusing, like the map in Pandoria is very clear what areas are which type, but here is not that clear, I think.
It's all up to how good you are at drawing.
Yeah.
And how much time you want to spend drawing things.
Yes, absolutely.
Is this the rectangle or the oval or the...
Or the squirrel?
And it's not a squirrel.
Triangle.
That would be a very bad roll right game. Like in this game, you have to be able to draw a squirrel to play the game.
But when I look at this game, it's not appealing to me.
No.
Nope. And also...
But we also played it.
Yeah, it's not that good. Pandoria is really good. And this is basically Pandoria. So I don't see why they made it, like, first off. But then they've removed some very interesting things in Pandoria. In Pandoria, where you place your workers are extremely interesting because you want to place around a area that you will, like, lock. What do you call it?
Yeah, you surround it, yeah.
Yeah, to score that area. But you want to not surround your own area which you're in, because then your guys gets removed from the game. That is removed here.
So there you have the interaction in Pandoria. So they have removed that to make this game an interactive roll and write game.
And also in Pandoria you have some special player powers which makes you play a little different. Here that's also gone. And also in Pandoria you draw some cards, which means that you can get a lot of different cards or a lot of the same cards. Here you have like always the same cards available.
But that part is actually like better here. Like you can it's not random. You can choose the card you want to use. So that part is better.
Kinda.
But the rest is just horrible.
Yeah, I don't see why this game exists.
This is bad. Like this is another one of those. Like I'm sorry, like for the designer, probably they designed it, thought this is a good idea because or else they probably hopefully wouldn't release it. But I would love to hear I would love to hear them explain to me why this need to exist.
Yeah.
I would love to hear why they think like, oh, this is different enough and it's better and it's different. Like, and it's not that much of a shorter game. It took like 35-40 minutes to play this. Pandora 2 players has played it 50 minutes. Why?
I would play Pandoria every day.
Yeah, it's like if I could play this in 10 minutes and get like maybe the same feeling. Maybe. But it's almost the same length and it's just worse.
Yeah.
Like I would like to see a person who's like, oh, I like this better because it's just the same game but just diluted and also more random because you roll 2 dice. You don't know what you get. You can in Pandoria you at least have the tile and you can say, oh, I want to place that there and there and there. And you just
Then it's a lot clearer because of that. Yeah, the symbols in the roll and write. I think it's a lot of examples on roll and write games that are made of bigger titles that aren't necessarily better than the originals, but
always worse.
Yeah, but they bring something new to the table. They have a twist or a turn or a different take on it, or are in a nice travel size or much shorter. This hasn't got any of it. They've tried to do something new with like a different resource thing that you can use.
Called artifacts.
Artifacts.
Which you get when you randomly roll 2 on the same number. And you don't really, not the same symbol.
Yeah.
And you don't get it, you just draw it on the map, and then somebody who enclosed that get it, and if you get 2 or 3 of it, you can buy some points.
That just seems pointless to me.
No, you can buy points. It's not pointless. You will actually be able to buy points.
Yeah.
If you can manage to get 2 or 3 of them just randomly.
Yeah. So we're not fans of the game.
I hate this game. Like, Pandora is a great game. I think you should go and get Pandora.
Yes.
Pandora is it's an underrated game, a hidden gem, a very, very good game. It has some expansions, which makes it more replayable with different races, different classes, different abilities. This is just bad. Like, do not buy this game. This is horrible.
The only positive thing it has going for it is the original link to Pandoria.
Yeah.
But go buy Pandoria,
Yes.
because I would not recommend this to anyone. I'm going to rate it at 3.5. It's not a bad design because it's based off Pandoria. If Pandoria didn't exist, I would probably appreciate this a little more. But when Pandoria exists, I would go buy Pandoria. So 3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to give it like a 4. It's bad. It's below average. I do not see why we need to have this game in circulation. I do not see why somebody needs to make this game, like, because Pandora is so good. Go make an expansion for that.
This here is wasted cardboard. I'm going to say it.
And it's also paper. It's
Yeah.
also paper. Yeah,
Or-
so
yeah.
wasted paper as well. Because it's like huge pads of paper.
This could be toilet paper. I will be more happy with it.
That's harsh. But yeah, the game is not good. I think everybody understands that now.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next one, which hopefully is a better one. Next up is Fort by Grant Rodiak, and this is an implementation of an older game of his, which also was has almost all the same. I haven't played it, but I wanted to play it, so I'm happy I got to play this. Leader Games took it and basically transformed it into Fort. So in this game, you are a bunch of friends trying to build a treehouse, get a lot of toys, pizzas, and upgrade your fort. So you're trying to upgrade your fort and get victory points by different things. And this has a great theme.
Yeah, I really love the artwork in this game.
Yes.
And also, it has a perfect box size. Look at its beauty. I love how whimsical the board artwork and the theme is, and it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
When I'm a kid, I just want to go around and get toys and get some pizza. And also,
I still want to do that.
also a very interesting thing in this game is that you're playing cards, and those are basically kids.
Your friends.
Yeah, your friends. And the cards that you don't play that round, they are hanging out in the yard, and other players can then pick them up.
Yeah, and I love this so much because it's
Yeah.
basically you have some best friends. They will never leave your side, but the rest of your friends, you have to play with them
Or else they will go someplace
or else they will
else.
be like, oh, maybe I want to play with somebody else
Yeah,
now
I
because
love that.
they do not want.
That is so clever.
I hope I didn't have many friends like that. Like, play with me now, or I'm gonna play with somebody else.
Well, yeah.
But it makes sense, and I love that they have been able to implement a new theme into an already made game and make everything make so much sense. And this is one of those games that the first time I played it, it didn't click for me. I heard so much good things. I played it, didn't click for me, waited a bit to play it again, and now I love it.
Yeah, I really think the card deck building aspect of this game is cool. Both that you want to play the cards that you really need to have in your deck so they don't get stolen by the other players, and also you want to have both a deck that you can use yourself, because most of the actions you do get better if you have a lot of the same suit.
Yeah.
And you also want to have some other suits that are great for following the other players' actions. I really like balancing and trying to figure out the best deck for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of different strategies you can go for. Maybe not a lot. It's a tactical game, so you have to see what the others are doing. And as you said, you want to have maybe a specialized deck, but you can't have too many of it because you're ending up not being able to play all of them, because you can't just play all of the same type just because you want to. You have to be able to do the action. You can go for different strategies, like you can go for trying to build a deck that can just score you lots of points because it's a race up to 25 points, or to go to the player who, or to upgrade your fort to the maximum. So those are two main strategies. And there's a lot of different things you can do depending on the cards, and of course it's a bit random with the cards coming up in different order.
Yes.
So you will be able to play it differently each time you play it.
Yeah, I thought it was good at 2 players.
Yeah.
We played it at 2 and 3. I liked it better at 3, but I think both worked fine actually.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought like because you have more people you can follow with 3 players, so it's easier to kind of keep your cards, because you might be able to play a couple cards without your turn. But it's just a lot of fun. Like I like it a lot. Do we want to rate it? Is there anything we should add? I was surprised. Like everybody loved this game, and I was sad the first time I played it because I didn't like it. But now I'm just like, when we played it yesterday to be able to ready to do this review, I was like, why didn't I like this the first time?
It has some other cool mechanisms as well, that your and thematic mechanisms. You're upgrading your fort, or like your tree house.
It's a fort.
Yeah, which makes you have like these permanent symbols. You can also use to make your actions be better, and also you can put things in your backpack.
Oh, that's in the hideout. Yeah,
in the hideout. Yes, that was the word that
because
I was
the fort is
looking
the fort
for.
that you're building. Yeah, makes sense.
And also you can have things in your backpack, because you have like limited space for your
resources,
pizza
your toys and your pizzas. Yes.
And I love those, like balancing those things as well.
I'm just like seeing it now, like sticking a little pizza in my backpack.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's a slice left there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to rate this a 7. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I think that the theme boosts this a little for me, because in its core, it's kind of a, I don't know, simple game. But I really love how they turn this around to make like this fun, whimsical theme around it. So I like this game.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it's a lot of fun. I was happy it grew on me. I think there's a lot to like here. Like most people have already seen and played this already, but if you haven't, I think you should check it out. There's lots of different reviews and playthroughs of it, so you can see if the game is for you. Lots of fun here in a small box, in a small rule set and short playtime. Really enjoyed it, and that is Fort.
The last game of today is Holi. This is like based on the Color Festival in, I think, India.
Yes.
And this is a cool abstract game. And what's unique for this game is the levels. It's like 3D levels of the game.
Yeah.
And you're basically running around playing these kind of abstract cards where you're throwing color on the ground and on the other players, and the higher up that you get in the tower, the more points that the color will net you, but it has to land up like on the same, I don't know how
spot,
to, same spot as the one below, or else it will fall down and then basically net you less points. And you also want to grab some candy for some majority, and it's just a fun, colorful game.
Yeah, and one of the things that, as you said, like the artwork, I mean the components here is what makes this game stand out. I remember when I saw this game, the pictures, that was what made me like, oh, we want to play this game. There's a 3D tower. I didn't know anything about this game. I was like, that is
3D tower.
But that is different. Like already from that is different. Of course the game has to be good. We're gonna come to that soon. But the 3D tower makes this game look interesting. So if you walk past this at something I think called a convention, I don't know what it is, but it's something I've heard about in the past. You will see this and you'll be like, oh, that looks interesting. What is that? The one thing I want to say about the components, like the plastic trays and everything from Game Trace, is very good. But when you put together the tower, you have these normal cardboard pieces that you stick at the end of the pillars for making the tower. You will see in the pictures. Those are just normal cardboard, and those are not very sturdy. So we have almost broken one off, or bent it, like it's almost broken in the middle. And it's kind of easy to do that if you are not extremely careful. So that might happen. If you break one of those, you do not have a game. So that is like the problem with this kind of, like if I break something that's just going to sit on the ground, I can just use half of it. But if I break this, then you don't actually have the game. You could, I guess, play
you can
it
tape
by
and reinforce it with some metal, but you have to do like a homemade touch on that.
But other than that, the game looks amazing. So is it good?
Yeah, I think think it was surprisingly fun actually,
Yes.
and it really shines with more people.
Uh-huh.
I think that both like trying to figure out which places to what do you call it, throw color,
Yeah.
and also trying to when I hit you with color.
Yeah, you don't actually hit me, but you throw color at me.
I'm making just gestures, but you're not actually doing that. If I play a card that makes the color land directly on you,
Yeah.
I get more points.
Yes.
I also want to see, I don't want to stand on the candy, but maybe I can work it out to get that candy so I can get the majority. And also when the timing to when to move up into the tower, because you can't
Can move up in the world.
down again. You can only go up.
Yeah, this is like not like real life. It's not like, oh no, I'm at the top. I can never go back down again.
Nope.
But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's like usually these kind of abstract games are kind of meh for me. And we played as 4 players, and it was a blast. It was a
Yes.
colorful blast. I had a lot of fun from beginning to end. And it wasn't too long. It took like an hour and 10 minutes with 4 players. The box
That was
has,
the first time.
the box has 20 to 40. Maybe you can do it 40 minutes with 4 players.
Oh, I think so.
But then you have to have played it a couple of times. I think the 2-player version was more fun than I would have thought it was. Like when I saw this, we played 4 players first. I was like, oh, that's great. I was like, oh, the 2-player might not be that good. But it was fun, especially it took like 15 minutes. So it's a very
fast,
quick
yes.
game. But then again, you have less interesting choices with the candy and less interesting choices when you move up in the world
Yes.
or in the tower.
Absolutely.
So it's absolutely better with 4. I wouldn't buy this to play it exclusively as a 2-player game.
No, I think the game really shines at 3 or 4 players. We
Yep,
haven't
we
tried
haven't played
3,
three, but
it was really good with 4. And also there are some rule cards that you can add,
Yeah.
and also some, what do you call it, scoring
Scoring
cards.
cards, yes.
And those,
Rivalry cards, I think they're called, the whole pack.
Those are optional to play with,
Mm-hmm.
but I think those really add to the variability, and
Absolutely.
those also seem to be more interesting, some of them with more players than only 2.
But there is a lot to like here, so what do you want to rate Holi?
I am not always the biggest fan of abstract games. Those are not like our favorite kinds of games,
No, that's
but
true.
this was a pleasant surprise. So I want to rate it a 7.5. This
Okay, cool.
is a little more than a good game for me.
I'm going to give it a 7. I like it. I like it more than most of those games. So 7 is pretty high for me for this kind of game. So I enjoyed it a lot. I recommend checking this out.
Yes.
If you are looking for like a lighter abstract game that works great with multiplayer play.
Yeah.
So that is reviews for 3 more games. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you are still here and you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so now. It's free. If you want to do something that's not free, you can go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and help us there. That helps us a lot to make this channel go, and it's also very nice. And you get to join our Discord and have some fun over there as well.
Yes.
So that is the end of another video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.